Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and I thought I would sit down and do a video or two for you guys and gals. Let me get a sip of my water first. Get my radio voice going. Yes, I'm now cleanly shaven again. You guys can see my jawline again. All right, let's talk about training volume as a form of progressive overload. Because this comes up in conversations and my comments, and, people are like, okay, yeah, we should always be trying to add weight to the bar, but what happens when we can't add weight to the bar and our volumes are still relatively low? Well, this is where increasing volume can become valuable for hypertrophy. And I think this holds true a lot more for people who are doing more rep work. In other words, I don't know that this would be the best way to approach, say, your main lifts if you're doing a 5x5. And in fact, a lot of people can do 5x5s on a few big lifts and then come in and do some small pump work and make great progress. But when we get a little more advanced and we're trying to maximize muscle growth and we're way down low on the volume end, what might we do? Okay, perfect example. Let's say you are doing something relatively easy, like 6 total sets. 6 total sets for your chest a week on 2 different days, so 12 total sets, right? We're at a good, healthy volume. And let's say you're doing sets of 10. I'll give this an example. Let's say you're doing 3 sets of 10 with 205 on the flat bench, right? And you're doing 3 sets of 10 with 165 on the incline. And you're stuck. You're like, I'm stuck. These are not increasing at all. How do I know I'm growing? Well, you may be growing really slow. So then the question becomes, we know mechanical tension is the driver of hypertrophy, but that tension is also created to some extent with fatigue, and the ability to replicate that tension has a hypertrophic effect. In other words, we're not growing from doing 1 rep maxes very much. I think we all understand this. So that's where you might start adding volume. So then you might say, okay, how about if I add an extra set of bench and build that bench up to where, because let's say you're stuck, you're not increasing. Okay, you build that bench to a 4th set. And you say, okay, well, I'm going to take a nice long break between doing that and see if I can add a 4th set and then still continue to do your incline afterwards. Or what if you haven't been doing incline? That would be a great time to add it. Let's say you've just been doing 3 sets of bench. Let's say you've been doing the bare minimum. You could take that 3 by 10 and then add 3 sets of 10 on incline. All right, we've effectively doubled the volume for our chest at this point. Then when that stalls, you could add another set of bench. Try to build to a 4th set. Then a 5th set. Like, let's say you do this and you're somewhat advanced and you're not able to add weight to the bar anymore. You build up to a 4th and then a 5th set. When you get to a point to where you can do 5 by 10 with that weight, but it still feels like, man, I feel so close to failure. I don't feel like I can add weight. And I don't want to really go heavier. Let's say I want to work with 205. Are we still progressively overloading? Yes, because you're very close to limit sets with that weight. You're adding more of them. All right, you could then do the same thing with the incline. You could add a 4th set, then a 5th set. And I'm not talking about doing this inside of 2 weeks. I'm talking about over the course of several months. Okay? Now you're doing 10 total sets for bench, near limit sets, doing them twice a week. That's 20 sets. That's a lot of volume. That is a lot of chest volume. That's a lot of lateral head, tricep volume. That's a lot of delt volume. This is a lot. All right. At that point, let's say you're still not ready to add weight. Start trying to add reps. Start trying to get an 11th rep on some of those sets. Okay? Because for very few people am I going to recommend going over about 20 sets. 20 sets a week is a lot. It's a lot. Now, when we talk about these ultra high volumes, is it permissible to sometimes go above that? Yes, but your lifestyle better be on point. In other words, your diet better be really good. Great diet, great nutrition, lots of antioxidants, Fruits, vegetables, plenty of protein. Work on your sleep. So what I would say for anyone who wants to exceed that, you need to fix these other variables first, because that you're near, look, 5 by 10 of hard sets on flat and incline, done every upper day, say done twice a week, that's a lot. Okay, before you try to add anything further, at that point, fix your recovery side. Get your lifestyle on point, get your nutrition on point, get your sleep on point. Once you do that, then you might be able to add some reps or even another exercise, some pullovers or something, some flies, whatever you need for your chest. But now we're getting past 20 sets. You need to have everything dialed in to recover from that. That's one reason I tell people, look, these ultra high volumes that are discussed, I'm not saying they can't work. I'm saying that most of you will not recover from them, therefore they're a waste of time. Now, if these other things are good, could some people go beyond that and then add a third exercise? Of course they could. But again, recovery needs to be on point. But up until that point, could you just keep adding volume there? In other words, could you do 205 for the flat bench and 165 for the incline for a very long period of time? Yes, if you can get more reps and work in. Okay? Because that's still progress. And that will make you bigger. That will make you bigger. Because again, if you got to where you were struggling with 3 by 10 with that on the bench, and then you've built up to 5 by 10 on the bench with that, then 5 by 10 on the incline with that other weight, then you start adding some reps, that represents very substantial hypertrophy plotted out over months. It's just that it's a lot of volume to recover from. It can be done. So when people ask me, what do we mean by volume as progressive overload? It works when you're not able to increase your progression on the other. In other words, when you're trying to do a 3 by 10 or a 5 by 10 or a 5 by 5, and you're just stuck on that one lift, adding more sets, more exercises, trying to add reps over time, that is an effective way to progress. Because at the end of the day, it's going to make you bigger and stronger. And that's what we need to remember too. All my guys out there are like, but you've always promoted strength, but you'll still get stronger. That will get you stronger. Then what happens if you build that up to 225? Okay? If you were doing 3 by 10 with 205 on the bench and you build up to 5 by 10 with 225, and then you're able to increase incline in a similar manner on that, your max will go up. Absolutely will go up. Because you've gained significant muscle mass. All right, guys, well, that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative. I'll talk to you guys next time.